Undeniable, the road to the Under Armour All-America game.
For me, the ocean's always just been right there. There's so many things to do. It's like the biggest free playground ever. So I really grew up there. I grew up close to the ocean wherever we lived. One of the biggest things that I did with my dad before he passed away was he surfed and I surfed, and we spent hours in the water. And we would be in there from 8 to 12, get out, eat, back in the water. It's a great place to kind of get away from everything.
Jake's been in the spotlight since a young age, but Jake loved his dad. They're very similar. Jake shows leadership and charisma and signs of a role model in all facets of things, but to also handle as much adversity as he's had to handle at such a young age and still be that guy is pretty impressive. It wasn't easy. He's a very old soul and a very mature kid, and he's had to grow up pretty quickly.
When Jake was 16, his father, Junior Seau, a California native and 10-time All-Pro NFL linebacker, passed away unexpectedly at the age of 43. After his death, Chargers president Dean Spanos described him as an icon in our community. He transcended the game. He wasn't just a football player. He was so much more.
Being a Seau, it's always expected, oh, he's gonna play football. And I thought the same thing because he was naturally talented.
He was playing Pop Warner football, and then in middle school he was playing flag football, and then of course in high school he's expected to play high school football, and even as a freshman he was playing varsity. And so that was always sort of a natural thing, kind of grew up around it. It's part of our history of our family.
Football was always there for me, but I never really fell in love with the sport the way he did. And I think that's just the difference, is that I was around that sport so much, and I grew up around it, that I was kind of tired of it by the time I was 16. I'd spent 16 years living, breathing, eating football.
And when lacrosse came around, it was something that he wanted to do every day, and it wasn't like he had to drag his butt to practice and do sprints. Like, he wanted to get better. And that's something I hadn't seen from him before.
I always wanted him to play whatever his heart desired and whatever his passion was. I never, ever was the mother saying, no, you have to play football, this is in your genes. I always wanted him as a young kid to blaze his own trail. Even though Junior would love him to stay in football, I was really pleased with Jake and really proud of the progress he was making and seeing Jake's enthusiasm for the game.
For me, lacrosse was always it. I was looking forward to practice, I was looking forward to working, and I think that that's what made me realize that lacrosse was really the sport for me.
While Jake chose to follow a different passion, he still inherited several of his father's admirable traits.
He definitely saw his father's work ethic and being dedicated to a sport and your teammates and your coaches. I think that's very important in his growth, because anytime you're a successful athlete, it doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of dedication, and I know he realizes that.
He was always in the weight room, he was always working, he was always watching film, he was always doing something to better himself at his trade, which was football.
Jake's the same way. Jake never misses practice, never misses a lift. He's a born leader. People just naturally gravitate towards him, and he just controls the team or the room. And I think he's inherited that work ethic and leadership from his dad.
I think that's the sort of thing that you can't really teach or coach a kid. I think that desire and that work ethic and that passion, it has to come from within their heart and their soul and then their gut. They have to really want it. I know Junior didn't really understand all the ins and outs of lacrosse, but I know he was happy to see his son doing well and doing something he loved.
He's also a big pioneer for the West, and that kind of empowers him and drives him. He wants to pave the way for the younger guys below him.
I hope there's some opportunities out there for him to grow the game and to be a part of whatever it is. But, I'm a mom. I just want to see him happy and doing what he loves to do.
I can't really see not being involved in it in the future. I think that growing the sport in the West, the ball's already rolling. It's going to progress to the point that a roster full of 10, 15 West Coast guys for some of the big-time D1s isn't going to be weird.
He's excited about his future playing Duke in the next 4 years. I said to him, number one, you're going to school to get a great education so you can be a productive person in life and enjoy these 4 years. These are the last 4 years of lacrosse you may have. And he said, oh no, Mom, I'll be playing lacrosse forever.
Presented by Corrigan Sports Enterprises. Events from conception to fruition. Produced by Jalbert Productions International.